That was the only time, as a black man in America, that I ever felt free. Was the 5 hours that I was in the shootout.
Many black people in Los Angeles had ran out of hope and were tired of waiting on change.
Stick 'em up, motherfucker. We come for what's ours.
We, the Negro people down here, have gotten completely fed up. And you know what they're going to do tonight? They're after the white people.
In the early 60s, there were very little evidence on television of black people. The only time you ever saw black people actually was in these demonstrations and being beat up.
And I ain't gonna get lynched. I'm not taking an ass kicking. I'm not getting put under arrest or none of that shit.
We up here in Los Angeles area, we're not turning out other cheap.
There's a consciousness that was around, and a lot of people was looking for a solution.
The Black Panther Party for Self-Defense calls upon the American people in general, and the black people in particular, to take careful note of the racist police agencies throughout the country in intensifying the terror, brutality, murder, and repression of black people.
Every person who ever visited Los Angeles thought that the LAPD were like a spinoff of the Ku Klux Klan.
The LAPD, the sheriff, the highway patrol, we put all of them on the run.
Black Panthers were going around saying they were going to kill police officers. They were carrying guns and they were carrying automatic weapons, and they were going to kill us.
They didn't come in as friends. They didn't come in saying we have an arrest warrant or we're coming in under the auspices of the law. They battered the door in and came in shooting, and they got shot.
FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover today asserted that of the black extremist groups, the Black Panthers represent the greatest internal threat to the nation. Hoover said the Panthers have perpetrated numerous assaults on police and have engaged in violent confrontations throughout the country.
At the University of California at Los Angeles, 2 Black Panthers were shot to death.
We have a black man that's dead, murdered by pigs.
This wasn't some casual event that happened accidentally when tempers flared. This was a planned assassination of leaders of the Black Panther Party for a very specific reason. Because as J. Edgar Hoover had said, we were the greatest threat, and he was going to eliminate that threat.
There were more killings and more vicious killing in Los Angeles because the LAPD recognized and responded to what they saw as a threat.
I said, we're not going to be getting just gunned down like this no more.
We're riding along with the idea that if the police stop us, it's going to be a shootout.
Black Panthers used submachine guns.
They got guns, we got guns. It didn't matter, because you're not going to cross this line, not with me. I grew up with a gun in my hand.
This nationwide war on law officers must be discovered and punished before the fabric of this nation is seriously damaged or destroyed.
We can romanticize the Black Panther Party and the big-time leaders can talk about the breakfast program and all that. Yeah, it's all good. But when you get down to it, police wanted to kill us, and we was trying to kill them. It's just that simple. That's what the Black Panther Party was.
So anytime you come to kill somebody, you got to bring ass and take ass. And you have to expect them to fight back. And that's what we did. And we would do nothing no more than any other human being would do. And we fought back to defend ourselves. And that's what we was all about. So I don't feel bad about it at all. I feel good about it.
War against the Panthers, counterinsurgency, right across the country. Nothing like it ever before in American history.
Comrade Arafat, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Hey, how you doing? Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
Yeah, again, thank you for this part two interview today. I really appreciate you, brother.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let me go ahead and begin. This is Malik Ismail with the Vanguard Show on Black Power Media Reloaded. And today I'm doing part two of my interview with Bernard Arafat, member of the Southern California chapter of the Black Panther Party under the leadership of Geronimo Gijaga, known then as Elmer Geronimo Pratt. And today, December 8th, is the 55th anniversary of the attack with the LAPD SWAT against the Panthers in Los Angeles, located at 41st and Central. Again, comrade, as you look back on this day 55 years ago, and 55 years ago seemed like a long time, but it's really not. What do you think the impact on that event had on you, as well as the community, and how do people look back on that day 55 years ago?
Well, it had a major impact on my life. It offered, the party offered structure and a family atmosphere, right? And the attack was an attack on family, because the attack happened in the early hours of the morning when the majority of us were asleep, and it was unannounced, later to find out that the attack was actually an illegal attack that violated our many of our First Amendment rights, the right to self-defense, a lot of things. So it brought a lot of things to the forefront. But how it changed my life is that I was met with the pending death. Somebody was trying to kill me and trying to kill the others around me. So we were in survival mode. And in order to survive, we had to do what we had to do. As far as the community is concerned, a lot of it is out of the consciousness of the younger people. Some of the older people now, because I'm 72 years old, some of them remember it, and bring it to my attention. But a lot of the youth aren't aware of the history of that moment and the goals, because we were youth just like the youths are today, but we were transformed by what was going on in communities across this country. We had churches being bombed, we had leaders being assassinated. So it was always constantly on the community's mind, and then we were youth that were transformed into serving the community. You're talking about the delinquent youths of this day trying to give back to the community. So that movement needs to still take effect to this day, to gain a consciousness that we have an obligation to enrich and develop our community.
Okay. And 1969 alone was called the Year of the Panther. J. Edgar Hoover, FBI, police agencies all over the country had this outright attack on the Black Panther Party. Describe that, as well as, and knowing about that, and also about the, just prior to the attack on 41st and Central, the assassination of Fred Hampton, Mark Clark, and the attack on the Chicago Black Panther Party.
Well, they were having attacks across the country on the Black Panther Party. And I believe Fred Hampton had paid a short visit to LA at the, just before he was killed. He was murdered in Chicago. We were all under constant, we were on edge, because it was evident that they were doing something, even a week before the shootout, the police had tried to assassinate me in a neighborhood called Watts in Los Angeles. And if you remember, while I was in the party at that stage, I was a juvenile escapee from juvenile hall. So I had a juvenile hall warrant on me. And me and another brother were going to office in Watts on 103rd Street. And before we got to the office to secure the office, we were stopped by two officers from the 77th police station. And one of the officers' name was Cigar. His nickname was Cigar. But anyway, I was there with a member of the party whose name was Jimmy Johnson. And what they did was they took us to the police station. Okay. They kept him and took me back to Watts. They didn't run any history on me or anything to find out I was an escapee from juvenile hall, so that would enable them to have the right to keep me and go through that judicial process. They took me back to Watts, and on 103rd Street, there's some railroad tracks that runs, I guess, like in the middle of the community. And there was a vacant lot, and at that time there was a tailor shop. And in that vacant lot, they took me it must have been 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning or whatever, but it was in the early morning hours. And they proceeded to try to assassinate me that morning. And there was a lady, and I call her my angel. There was an elderly lady that evidently she was conscious to what was going on, and she made her presence known as a witness. So they backed off. And after they did what they did to me, they whipped my ass and et cetera, she got me into her car and drove me to the community center, the Panther Community Center on Anzac. Then I was able to get some medical treatment. But it was evident that they were trying to kill us because they had killed several other Panthers, especially in LA.
Right. Okay, right on. And also describe the leadership of Geronimo, because I think they had preparation just prior to the attack or sometime before that. Preparation had long been made to secure the office. Talk about his leadership and also the preparation for an oncoming assault.
Well, Geronimo, being a veteran, he had a general idea of what was coming against us. So he had that building reinforced for whatever attack that was coming against us. So I know that the building was an old brick building, and we reinforced that building with sand between the drywall and the brick. And we reinforced it. Behind that, we reinforced it with sandbags. I heard, I wasn't aware of it at the time. I heard that he reinforced the roof or the ceiling, but I'm not sure of that. Also, there was a tunnel being dug straight to the sewer system. So we had a means of escape that was never completed. Okay. So his leadership actually saved our lives, because the amount of ammunition that came towards that building that was stifled by those reinforcements saved our lives.
Right on. And also, I want to talk about the movie 41st and Central by an excellent young director who I got to know personally. You knew him a lot better than I did, Gregory Everett. He captured, some of those events and really did a great job. Talk about his film, 41st and Central. And again, you guys had a wonderful relationship with him and the other comrades that you worked with. Talk about that movie project and also Brother Gregory, rest in peace.
He was a beautiful brother. From my understanding, he was the son of a Panther, and he was a man. He was a great example of a family man. He called on me during COVID, a lot of things, and by his passing, we lost a great brother. The movie, from my understanding, the movie was never really completed. That was just the first part of it, know. So that's the introduction to what we went through.
Okay. And also, I'd like to describe the day of the attack. Of course, you saw what happened with Chicago and all over the country, but the actual day you describe, them breaching the roof, and just describe that day as you saw it and you woke up and you had to act. Did you hear me? Hello?
Okay, I think we had some technical difficulties there.
Oh, sure.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. What I was gonna ask about the day of the event. Once you were awoken and other comrades, kind of describe that day as it went down, from the breach on the roof and so on. Okay, your mic is off for some reason.
Okay. Well, that morning.
Mm-hmm.
Hello?
I'm
Is
still
it back
here.
on?
Yeah, it's back on.
Okay. That morning, I had just completed my shift at security on the roof, and I was relieved by another brother, Will Parker.
Okay.
Gil Parker, I'm sorry.
Gil, yeah.
And I went downstairs to the second floor. There was a library, and we had mattresses on the floor, and I proceeded to get some rest. I went to sleep. I was awakened when the attack started. The police or the SWAT members of the LAPD members, they were shooting down. Oh, am I still here?
Yeah, I'm still. I can
Another
hear you now.
interruption. They were shooting down from the roof into the second floor, and I grabbed an automatic shotgun, returned fire, and eventually it stopped. They also used an explosive on the roof to try to collapse the roof, but the roof withheld. So they did blow a couple holes in the roof. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And I was going to also say, well, did you finished on that one or that part, or because we're kind of coming in and out for some reason?
Yeah, I didn't know what part you heard me or what, but I was describing that the police were shooting down through the roof from the police were on top of the roof shooting down into the second floor. They were using explosives to try to collapse part of the roof. That didn't work. They were, it was an all-out assault, from the top. Yeah.
And you talked about Gil Parker. They, from what you described the last time we talked, they got the drop on Gil on the roof, correct? Did you hear me?
Right. They got the drop on Gil, and they tried to use Gil as a human shield to hide behind, and Gil, because there was a skylight in the middle of the conference room, and they tried to put him in front of the skylight so we would shoot back at the police and injure him. Thank God that didn't work.
Okay. Wow, that's incredible. And also describe who was in the house. You did it the last time we talked, but it was, from what I understand, it was 9 brothers and 2 sisters. Is that correct?
It's been so it's been so long ago. I believe that's correct. You know, I don't know.
Well, I know Tommy and Peaches were there.
You can name off some names, you know,
Okay.
and I can confirm it.
Brother Wayne Farr. Wayne
That's
Farr.
correct.
I think the brother who had the Thompson, that was Cotton.
Yeah, it was Cotton.
Okay. And again, I mentioned Peaches and Tommy.
Yeah, Peaches and Tommy were 2 of the sisters. You had Roland Freeman.
That's right.
You had Paul Red. You had Mims. We already mentioned Wayne. I mean, you might have to help me out here.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm you know,
like
I said, we kind of got the gist of it, but but once it was pretty much agreed upon to, you know, well, first of all, how did the event stop? I think I understand why, but you know, in terms of the bullets, but at what point did you guys make a decision? Okay, look, we ran out of bullets, so this is what it is, and how did the situation where you guys gave up and had to come on out, and how did that transpire?
Well, Peaches was in contact with the news agencies and things, and when we had a consensus on whether to give up or not, there was not really anybody that anxious to walk out there and get shot.
I understand.
You know, and so Peaches arranged for the surrender. It was getting kind of I guess monotonous. We didn't have any more bullets, or we were running out of ammunition, and I mean the point was made. So Peaches was the first one out, and after that, everybody came out, and the rest was history.
Well, right on. And immediately after the surrender, what happened to you immediately after? And I know that again, comrades were taken to jail, and you know, certainly there was going to be a trial, but you had to make a different decision personally. What was that?
Well, they took me back to juvenile hall, but they had me in seclusion because of the nature of of what I was charged with. So at Central Juvenile Hall in Los Angeles, they had a separate section for, I guess, the most outrageous crimes or whatever. And in that process, that juvenile process, either they were going to send you to YA or some type of institution to fit the crime. And I already knew that because I had already escaped from the place after I became political. So I asked the judge to be declared an adult. And that judge was glad to, more than glad, to give me my request.
Okay.
And so I was declared as an adult. So by being declared as an adult, I was reunited with my comrades, but still separated. So when they sent me to the adult section of, well, not the adult section, but they sent me to county jail. But even in county jail, they had us separate from the adults. They had a special section of the county jail for juveniles that were declared adults. But by being declared as an adult, now I was eligible for bail. And as the process in the court proceedings went on, eventually I was bailed out.
Okay. All right. And you had made a decision to, if I understand you correctly from our last conversation, you made a decision to jump bail. Give me the reason why, and then how that affected, really your journey afterwards.
I didn't make that decision.
Oh, okay.
I was ordered to go underground. Okay. Which, as I look back now, that was kind of suspect. But that was kind of suspect. But from the person that ordered me underground, because I wasn't aware of the political things that were going on in the Black Panther Party. But I was sent underground, and so I wasn't going to any of the proceedings.
Okay. All right.
So I was underground for some years, where I stayed in a safe house, and eventually you resurfaced with a new identity. You went to work like everybody else, and you blended in into the community. So it was like a modern day Underground Railroad.
Wow. Right on. Now, I had a question about SWAT. Was that their first ever action? Because I know they had been formed, but they hadn't had an action up until that point. Is that correct?
Yeah, that was the first, I guess, mission that LAPD SWAT went on. When they militarized a certain section of LAPD for certain organizations and things, crimes that they deemed that fit that mode. I remember doing an interview with the LA Times, and where he described that particular mission that SWAT did changed policing in a way.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. So, you had to go from there. I was distracted.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Yeah, I have another event after this. So December 8th is on.
We're gonna wrap it up. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, we have a Black Panther breakfast every second Sunday here in LA, and it's a community forum, and we discuss current events and make it possible for those people that are giving something back to the community to put their put their work forward towards the community, and we cover the historical things like we're going through now.
Okay, all right. And I know Brother Kwaku Duran and Sharif at the time, wrestlers, so they would tell me about these breakfasts and what have you, or at least Kwaku did, at least.
Yeah.
And it's a good way to, I see it on Facebook with Brother Harold Welton. So I don't want to make you late for that, but I just want to probably throw about 2 more questions at you. Yes, sir. But one other thing I want to kind of ask, what was the justification that they used to do this siege on 41st and Central?
I think a couple of people had warrants. I think Paul Red had a warrant. For what, I don't know. I can't really go into the justification of it, but just that they were trying to kill us all across the country. There was a green light to murder us, and they were getting away with it.
Yeah, and no knock warrant at that.
Yeah, no knock warrant. So if somebody came to your threshold, and our first general order is that we were supposed to protect our threshold. You just can't come in and violate that threshold and expect not a response.
Absolutely. I think it was Brother Wayne Parr who said, You got to have ass to bring ass. So he always used to say that. I know I don't curse too much, but Wayne used to always say that.
Yeah, that was a saying back in the day. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. And I have two more questions. Have you ever considered writing a book, because your story is just phenomenal?
You know, I've asked a lot of people.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I asked a lot of people. I've even put out a call to the community, especially young people that are majoring in journalism, for some help in that. And it always gets sidelined. You know, I mean, there's some things or some stories that are probably relevant to some youth today, you know, because I went through a lot of tragic things in life. But the end result, and I was just thinking about it recently, that it's all been a spiritual journey. You know, it's formed the person that I am today. I recognize the blessings of my ancestors and the people in my community, because we had elderly people or the people that were older than us that were always there to point a solution or to lend a helping hand, you know, to get us out. There was a brother in my community that knew me when I was a child. Him and his wife used to babysit me growing up. And when I lost my parents, I think I shut down and I used those escape mechanisms. And you know, it was the time of life when you're 13. What do you call that?
Was it
anyway? You're making that transition from a youth
adolescence
to, I guess,
the
young adult, right?
Yes.
And some of the things they portray in the community are just like escape mechanisms. Oh, it's time to start drinking, or it's time to stop getting high. But all that is to take you out of your mindset and your growth and everything. But I went through that process. You know, I was a rebellious youth. But anyway, that particular individual in my community got me to come out of that shell. And he was a elder that I respected, that was part of my life. When I started changing my life, reintegrating into society from all that, see, talk about post-traumatic stress. He was there, you know, he was there, and he was able to see things beforehand that I didn't even see, you know. So I had a lot of respect for that brother, you know, and you know, those were blessed times, you know, and it still can be. But it's kind of, when I look at the community today, I see the destruction of the Black community. I see the destruction of the family. I see people wandering around with backpacks and worn out shoes, and I see homeless people. I can't go to a 7-Eleven store and not get hit on for some change, you know, or seeing a brother out there cold in the morning with a blanket over him like he just woke up. You know, it's a situation that I guess the community is putting in the back of their mind, but we're under assault. And I think we need to realize that. And if we had a functional Black Panther Party today, that would be part of the survival programs that we were putting forth back then. If we started the breakfast program, you know, and medical programs, a lot of things we did to try to give back to the community. And we started off from scratch. We didn't even have anything. So things are possible, you know, if we organize and move in a positive direction like that.
Okay, right on. So what advice would you give to the youth today as they carry on the struggle, and also to realize how serious the struggle is and their commitment to it. What advice would you give?
Yeah, it's important for them to educate themselves on who they are, what their responsibilities are, to fall in love with learning and knowledge, to develop things that or to be entrepreneurs, because trade is part of the African tradition. It's okay to be successful. Don't think you have to be a gangster, which is a trap. Gangster who? Who are you going to gangsterize? You're going to go into the white community and sell drugs? You're going to go into the white community? Yeah, give me a break. You have to reclaim your community. And one of the ways of reclaiming your community is owning your community. You want to own your community. You want to own the institutions. One of the basic things when I came back to California from Puerto Rico and resolved my legal issues was that there was, I was starting from square one, and the only basic jobs I can get were not very satisfactory, So when I joined the Nation of Islam, it gave me basic business skills. It encouraged me to go back to school, which I did. I went to junior college. It gave me hands-on experiences in the businesses. It gave me a sense of worth. Okay. And later to find out that was more or less like the Garvey tradition. And then when I evolved into a higher nature of what Islam is really about, everything clicked. So where I am today is that I'm very thankful at 72 years old. I still have a skill that I can do and try to give back or leave a legacy for my family, which is important because I see a lot of people my age, they're not really doing anything, waiting to die. I mean, if we know we're going to meet our maker, why not go out like a soldier?
That's right. I heard that.
Live life to its fullest. Yeah, live life to its fullest and give some love back to the community. We need it.
Right on, right on. Well, I want to first of all congratulate you on your realty company, 43 years of service to the community. I definitely want you to shout out your realty company, how people can contact you, not only for real estate, but also speaking engagements as we conclude.
Okay, thank you. Was that a question? Because I didn't. I
just wanted to congratulate you on 43 years of service in the community through your realty company, and just give the name of the realty company and how they can contact.
Oh yeah, Skyway Realty. We're in Los Angeles. I think it's been over 43 years. I got my license in 1981.
Okay.
So it's been a while, and I've seen some changes in the real estate market, and I'm seeing some definite changes in our community, and it's a challenge. It's a challenge, and if you look at the traditions that our elders set before us, it was very important to own the land.
Yes,
and the system had tried so many ways to keep us from owning the land, from city governments to actually taking our land. So it's very important for us to control our destiny by owning the resources that are in our community.
Right on, right on. Well, brother, I really appreciate you. How can people follow you on social media and contact?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook. I have a page. I have a real estate Facebook page too, for that people that are interested in real estate in the state of California. And my contact information is there.
Okay, right on. Well, again, Comrade Bernard Arafat, you're definitely a hero to me and the comrades. Ronald Freeman, I don't know if you can see, I have Ronald Freeman's, I got from Brother Everett back in the day, rest his soul. But again, I want to thank you for all you've done and all that you will continue to do. And again, it's been a pleasure having you on today.
Okay, thank you, brother.
Right on, brother. All power to the people.